Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And I am here tonight live on Facebook. Woo, we're almost at the end of October here on October 23rd, 2023. And I'm going to be going over This Week in Astrology all the way until Sunday of October 29th. So welcome. I'm going to be covering a lot of things in this broadcast, not only just this week, but it's pertaining for the next month coming up, because we're going to be talking about Scorpio season. That is right. We have Scorpio season. And I'm not sure, I think I might have fixed my camera. So I am co-recording for YouTube and for Facebook. So if you're live with me on Monday night, you are awesome sauce. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, you're also awesome. And go ahead and comment below your astrological sign, where you're tuning in from, what area, and what your sun, moon, rising sign is. But we are going to be celebrating some Scorpios tonight. Hey, Wendy, my first commenter, and so appropriate because you are a Scorpio sun sign. Yay! That's awesome. We have a bunch of now planets that are kind of getting speedy and going forward, and we have Mercury just changed into Scorpio. We have the sun changing into Scorpio. We have a bunch of planetary things, and we have an eclipse this week coming up, another eclipse. So you don't want to miss this. So welcome. Hey, Kelly, welcome. You got your auto alert. That's good. Yeah, just so you guys know, on Facebook, if you click on the upper right hand three little dots of this post, you can click on a thing that says turn on notifications for me, and whenever I go live, it'll tell you that I am live. So hey, Kelly, welcome. Gemini, Leo rising, Pisces moon from upstate New York. Amir, welcome. Taurus, Cancer, Sagittarius placements from Vermont, welcome. Kelly said solar return. Oh, ascendant 4-degree Scorpio. Interesting. Well, we'll see how that goes. And your sun's in your 8th house. Yeah. So welcome everybody who is joining me live tonight. Go ahead, like the post, comment below, and I'm going to get started because it does help the algorithm to get rolling. So again, we have a lot of planets going into this new, phase. We're coming out of Libra phase. We still have some planets in Virgo. We have some planets in Libra. And now we're going to be going into this new phase, which is going to be very scorpionic, Boy, it didn't really feel very peaceful during that Libra stuff, huh? I will tell you, and I've said this in previous broadcasts, the first 3 weeks of October 2023, were a doozy. I don't know how anybody else did on those first 3 weeks, and really even since Libra season started, to be honest, in September. But we've just had steady, nonstop activity. And that's, when there's this much activity planetary wise going on, that means there's this much activity on this planet going on. Now there's a lot of bombings going on. There's a lot of war stuff happening. There's just all kinds of things. And so we are feeling that on this planet when there's a lot of things stirred up. And some of the stuff that was stirred up was not super positive either. That's the other thing. This week, if it wasn't for a couple of really some big planetary things, this week is actually kind of quiet, a little what we call quiet, compared to what we've been going through. But the things that are happening this week are sort of, big things. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, Andrea, welcome. Hey, Melinda, Capricorn sun, Cancer moon, welcome. I hope you're feeling better, Melinda. Hey, Jennifer, Cancer sun, Scorpio moon. Okay, we're going to be talking about Scorpio, Libra rising, welcome. So we have basically what I just want to recap really quickly. Last week, we had a bunch of things going on. Namely, the sun and Mercury are together. They formed a conjunction. The peak of that thing happened on Friday, but they're still pretty much together. They're still in what we would call a conjunction sort of thing. And then we had those two were highlighting Pluto for over the weekend. Pluto, as you know, is death, rebirth, transformation, Phoenix rising. So if you guys had any activity going on this weekend that was a little sticky, that would be why. And sometimes it's not even activities. Sometimes it's just how we get in the feels. We're in the feelings of that. And so that can be a little sticky, a little crunchy, a little, with Pluto happening. We had that last quarter lunar cycle on Saturday with Capricorn in Capricorn, which was also highlighting Pluto. So there's been a lot of very Plutonian things. Now, I'm leading into what's happening now. The Sun and Mercury are, like I said, still close together. So Mercury on Sunday moved into the sign of Scorpio at 2:49 a.m. Eastern time, and that happened on Sunday at, on October 22nd. Now, if you're on the West Coast, you might have gotten that. You got that one even earlier on the like just before midnight at whatever that is, I can't do that in my head, 11:49 p.m. Okay, and that would have been on the 21st. But either way, Mercury now is in Scorpio. And again, we have the Sun entering Scorpio today, and that happened at 12:21 p.m. today, this afternoon on 10/23/2023. Love that numerology, 2323. Hey, Robin, welcome. Gemini and Dee Dee, Leo Sun. Love that. Scorpio rising. See, we got a lot of Scorpionic people here coming on. And so basically we have this Scorpionic lens activated. Now, where is Scorpio in your astrological chart? If you know, comment below. What house is Scorpio in? And you'll know how that affects you on a personal level. There's a couple Leo risings. I think I saw one or two Leo risings. I know Kelly's Leo rising. I'm also Leo rising. So I know where my Scorpio is for sure, but it depends on where that is. And also, the thing about that is not only is it where is it in your astrological chart, because remember, everybody has it somewhere, even if you don't have planets. But if you have planets there, if you have your sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, any of the planets, Pluto, whatever, in Scorpio, this will be activating that sector and you'll be feeling the feels. Now, we were focusing on this balance, fairness, beauty stuff from Libra all this time, supposedly balance and fairness. And remember what I always say about these things, we're striving for that. Our souls are striving for that, but I don't know if we did so great during Libra season, because it seems like half the world is fighting right now. But now we're into Scorpio season and we're supposed to be analyzing our feelings. We're supposed to be taking all the stuff that was stirred up and started, and especially if you had anything going on romantically with Libra season, now we're internalizing some of that. We're analyzing some of that. Scorpio is very much known for digging beneath the surface and wanting to know the mystery of life and sort of ferreting out what's going on, the secrets and all the hidden crevices and cracks and all the things that we want to look at. That's why Scorpios themselves tend to be a little bit more like detectives or researchers. Are very good at like sort of getting in there and sort of figuring out what's going on. That's very Scorpionic. Or even I do have a lot of therapists in my practice that come to see me, and a lot of them have some Scorpio in their chart, or they're into this type of stuff. A lot of Scorpio people are into this type of work, like astrology, numerology, tarot, all kinds of stuff, witchcraft, and just different things. I mean, of course, there's all different walks of life, and there's all different Scorpios in this planet. But I would say out of my personal practice of people that I do readings for, I think I do the most amount of readings for people with Scorpio or very significant Scorpio in their chart, or like somebody pointed out, the 8th house. In our astrological chart, Scorpio is the natural landlord of the 8th house. I call it the landlord. It's a landlord-tenant situation. And I have all these little nicknames that I came up with because I like to make astrology easier, because it is a little bit of a complicated topic, and I like people to be able to conceptualize things. Almir, you got Pluto and Scorpio, yeah. See, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and when you have your Pluto in Scorpio, that's a double, I call it a double bubble there, where it's extra strong Pluto. So if anybody has their Pluto in Scorpio, that's even stronger, because it's got its like home court advantage, it's like right in that sign. So that's a very strong and a very powerful, but I can see that with some of the things that you do, Almir, and so I think that that's something that that we want to keep in mind. So this is really about having, so wherever we have Scorpio in our chart is where we're a little bit intense, a little bit, we want to sort of dig our teeth in and sort of figure things out. There might be secrets in that area. There might be some things that are hidden in that area. That's an area that we might be a little bit personal about, a little bit private about. So, it depends on where that Scorpio is. But we are going to be going into Scorpio season for the next month until November 22nd, 2023. So October 2023, 23. To November 22nd, and then we're going to be going in through Scorpio through that whole time. So it is a big thing, and we're in it now. We're in the Scorpio season, and we have some other, there's already some other things there. So get a little bit of a head start. We have Mars there, and now we have Mercury there too. And Mercury is how we think and talk and communicate. Now, Mercury and the Sun often travel very close together. In fact, Mercury is no more than one sign on either side of the sun. That's how close they're, kind of like, they always sort of do this constantly, Mercury and the Sun. So Mercury is already moving ahead by one day. Like I said, the Mercury kind of overtook the sun and now is kind of looking as if it's traveling ahead of the sun in the sky. And so that's what we are doing. Somebody said their audio cut out. Hopefully it's not everybody. Sometimes there's glitches with internet and I can't do anything about that. But Ashley said Scorpio is in your 7th and 8th house. Okay, good. That's cool. That means you got some intensity going on there with your relationships. Ashley Ann. Yay, you got here. I'm very excited about that. Kelly said Scorpio's 4th and 5th house. Okay, so some of you, so 4th house is home and family, 5th house is love. Ashley Ann, maybe I read that wrong. Ashley Ann said 6. I'm not sure what that means. So yeah, so anyway, there's Scorpio is going to be activated, and that is a big deal. Now, Scorpio, like I said, it is a very passionate sign. So I have talked to you guys about this before, where the sun, where Aries and Scorpio they both used to share Mars. Mars is the god of war, okay, as their ruling planet. And then when we discovered Pluto, Scorpio took Pluto over, okay? So they both, Aries, if you think of Aries and Scorpio, they both are very intense, very passionate. It's just that Scorpio tends to be a little bit kind of on the down low with it, where Aries is sort of loud and proud. I mean, like, Aries can be really kind of a little out there with their stuff. So when you think of Scorpio, you think of something that's guarded. When I think of the scorpion, the little, the scorpion, which is the symbolic representation of Scorpio, tends to really, they actually don't really go after you. They hide, and that's the problem. They're in your shoe, or they're under your bed covers or some gross thing, and then they will get you with their claws or with their pointer, but they don't usually seek you out. I mean, Scorpios usually are not quite that. I think that that's a little bit of some hype and some archetypal language that we talk about. But I see a lot of Scorpios. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. That's usually what the deal is with a lot of Scorpios. Yay! I'm not sure if I'm saying your name, Majorca. Thank you so much. 99 stars, first stars of the evening. You got my space clearing bell that I like to use. Joan, welcome. Aquarius, welcome. So anyway, we tend to be a little bit private, a little bit personal, a little bit, just like I said, behind the scenes, wherever Scorpio is in your chart. And that's kind of like your life lesson. And again, if you have any planets there, that's even more. Now, we can't talk about Scorpio without talking about sex. In fact, the sexual organs is the area of the body where Scorpio resides. So if you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, you have to sort of be careful or sort of monitor, because I always say it's either your superpower or it's your kryptonite, one or the other, okay? Where it can be anything related to the sex organs, reproductive organs, the ovaries, the uterus, vagina for women, males, penis, testicles, prostate, all of that. And it's elimination. So it's like the bladder, like sort of where the bladder exits the body, and also the rectum. So that's the whole area of Scorpio. So if you think about the sacral chakra, which is our beautiful orange chakra, which is like pretty much your pelvis, your lower sort of pelvis area. That's your sacral chakra. And so that is the area of Scorpio. So you do have to be mindful of getting your yearly checkups. For us ladies, it's gynecologists. Guys have to get their prostate looked at. And also be mindful of our sexual health, wearing condoms and having our sexual health monitored and looked after. There's it's not something that's shameful. It's something that's part of a medical exam and something that we should be mindful of. And so that is that area. Now, it does rule over the 8th house, which is sex, death, other people's money. 8th house is sort of that sort of genre, and intimacy, deep intimacy. It's not a sort of shallow area. So whatever, astrological sign is on your 8th house, that's where you're very sort of you have a little bit more of an intensity also. So yes, wherever Scorpio is in your chart, but also what's in your 8th house. See, remember the 8th house, the landlord is Scorpio, but the tenant might be a different sign for you. My 8th house is Pisces, so I have, a little bit of a different lens on my 8th house. Still both water signs. Scorpio is a water sign, Pisces is water too. And water, again, rules over sort of our emotional, except for Scorpio tends to be more emotional, behind the scenes, much more private, doesn't like to have a whole bunch. I have a lot of Scorpios that they won't even be on social media. They're like, no, that's not for me. A lot of them are personal and private. Even if you think of a lot of stars, today on my post, if you guys haven't seen it on Facebook, Instagram, or even LinkedIn, I had my post today for yay, Scorpio season. So if you haven't liked that post yet, definitely make sure you like that post. But I put a whole list of people who are Scorpios. And if you look at that list, there's a lot of them that are a little bit more reclusive or a little bit more private. And some of them are even famous for their roles, like Demi Moore or Maggie Gyllenhaal, for playing like very sexual, seductresses that are, kind of getting famous off of acting roles that are very like sort of, salacious and sexy. So that's the archetype of Scorpio. Yes, Ryan Gosling is definitely a Scorpio for sure. So there's a lot of that Scorpionic lens. Now, if you think about the holidays, right, that come during Scorpio season, it's all about the mystery and the afterworld and the afterlife. It's Halloween, it's All Saints Day, it's All Souls Day, it's Veterans Day. It's like there's a lot of sort of times that are even dedicated during Scorpio season to this topic of the mystery and the afterlife and all that stuff. So yes, we are here, Scorpio season. Hello, Darlene, welcome. Thank you, Mayarka. I really appreciate, they said, they love my astrological work. Love that. Kelly, yes, Ryan Gosling for sure. So we are in it. We're in Scorpio season now. Right as we enter Scorpio season on Tuesday, on October 24th, we have the sun in Scorpio forming a trine, which is positive, with Saturn in Pisces. Now, I just mentioned about Pisces but also being a water sign. That's what we call a trine, meaning that they get along really well. We tend to get along really well with signs that are in the same element as us, typically. So Scorpio and Pisces is like one of the top matches, although I've seen some of them be really messy. Because it's all that feeling and all that intensity, and a lot of Scorpios like to dominate those poor Pisces. I don't know. So it is something that we have Sun trine Saturn. I say tomorrow, but really it's overnight, between tonight and tomorrow. It had the peak of it, the height of it is 3:14 a.m. Eastern time on October 24th, or if you're on the West Coast again, it's 12:14 a.m. Eastern Pacific time. And so this is all about getting stuff done. I mean, whenever we align with Saturn, and especially when it's positive, this is work, it's our spiritual work, it's our something that we're meant to do. It's our goals, it's our aspirations, it's like get it done. And it's really like getting that to-do list out and just nailing it, just going through that to-do list and just like checking off the check boxes and making sure that we get it done. That is going to be a peak of it is tomorrow. But remember, these things are active for a few days before and a few days after. So, if you need to accomplish something big, work on a big goal, pursue your dreams, pursue your aspirations, do all kinds of stuff. This is really what this is about. This is about getting it done, getting aligned with your goals, making sure you have your goal sheet, all that kind of stuff I think is really, really important. And even if it's not like a big goal, let's say you just have like a work deadline or just something that you needed to accomplish. You had to clean up all the leaves in your yard or something like that. This is still the time to do that stuff too. Anytime we get Saturn is long, slow, hard, and difficult typically. But when we align positively, if you think of the sun is solar power, aligning positively with Saturn. So this is a much less hard and less difficult. In fact, it's very, very favorable to start something new during that time as well. Remember when we've been talking about, like, when do we write this new moon manifestation list? Because, geez, we're already getting almost to the full moon. Well, this could be a good time to write it too. If you still haven't written it yet, I would write it still. You're not using the moon, but you're using the sun's solar power to be able to help you and assist you in something. So this is quite positive. Like, again, I was starting to feel like the astrologer of doom and gloom a little bit with all of the last few weeks. And I'll tell you, any astrologer that you see is probably a little tuckered out from all that energy, because it was just a lot. Even on Sunday, which is at the time this broadcast was yesterday, on October 22nd, we had Venus forming a trine with Jupiter, and then we had Mercury forming a trine with Saturn, because remember, the sun and Mercury are together, so they're both trining Saturn right now. So this is really a good time. This little bubble here, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday, looks pretty positive astrologically speaking. So this is all good stuff, and this is a good time to do something, start something new, where I've been saying recently, like, oh, I don't know, it's a little difficult. I felt like we were just like traversing through like cut glass or something recently. That's kind of how it felt, and how like astrologically, it really felt kind of difficult. Now, on Thursday, and then I'm going to get into this full moon, but on Thursday, we do have one sort of thing that's kind of, that's on October 26th. We have the sun forming a sextile, which is positive. Sextiles are positive, with Lilith. Now, Lilith, how is she? She's not super positive, what we'd say positive. Now, today, Mercury formed a sextile with Lilith. Now, Thursday, the sun is forming a sextile with Lilith. See how I'm talking about Mercury and the sun, Mercury and the sun, Mercury and the sun. Now, Lilith is in Virgo, and the sun is in Scorpio. Scorpio and Virgos get along really well. I know a lot of Scorpio, Virgo couples and combinations, they tend to be very attracted to each other. And so Virgo, Lilith, and Scorpio Sun, I mean, they're kind of similar. They're sort of highlighting all this sort of energy that's like intense and deep and But this could be good because these are positive. Again, this could be a little sexy time too. This could be some fun flirtation and like a little bit of, what are you doing on Friday? That kind of stuff. Sliding into someone's DMs, that could be very much on a Thursday type of thing. Hey, Kathleen, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Scorpio Sun, we're talking all about Scorpios. Ashley Ann said, oh, you're starting a new creative book. That's awesome. I love that. Sorry that you were sick for the last 4 weeks, but yeah, I mean, this last 4 weeks was difficult energy. So I'm glad that you're starting that. And this is a great time to start those types of things for sure. So we can have some passion coming on Thursday. And actually, like I said, sextiles bring opportunity that we need to put a little bit of effort into in order to get it done. Where trines, which is what's happening with the Sun and Saturn, trines are like gifts and blessings. So we have some nice, in the beginning of this week, it's very nice. Until Saturday, we are going to have a partial lunar eclipse. So it's eclipse number 2. We already had one that was a total ring of fire eclipse, and that was on October 14th, okay? And that was a solar eclipse. Now we're having a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses happen during the full moon. Now, as far as a rating goes of eclipses, this one's not very spectacular at all. In fact, we're not really going to see it very much in the United States. Only like New York and Alaska are going to see it. And I think one of the Dakotas, I don't remember, but it was like, and we'll only catch like a shadow of it, like even if you're lucky enough to actually catch the eclipse. So it's really not going to be viewable from the United States. It's going to be more of like Europe and Asia's and some different areas. But remember what I always say, it's not if it's viewable or not viewable, it's how are we experiencing the energy of the eclipse. And always eclipses are a stop and a restart from planets. And so with the Sun and the Moon, the Sun is now in Scorpio and the Moon is going to be in Taurus. So I know a few Tauruses that are on this broadcast, and this is going to be the very last lunar eclipse full moon in, not full moon, but lunar eclipse in Taurus for almost 18 years. We won't be going through this again because the nodes of the moon have moved on from Scorpio and Taurus. So this is like a little leftover, like left behind kind of a situation, because the nodes of the moon are what denote where the eclipses are taking place. So the nodes of the moon, if you remember, North Node is in Aries right now, South Node is in Libra. But like I said, we have a little leftover, and that kind of happens sometimes with these eclipses. It's on the ecliptic. That's what sort of predicts the eclipses. It's on the ecliptic line. And so that's basically what the deal is. It's going to be 5 degrees Taurus, 5 degrees Scorpio Sun. So where is Scorpio? Where is Taurus in your chart? And you'll know how this will affect you on a personal level. The Sun and the Moon are always opposite, okay, at the time of the full moon. And like I said, they're going to be really opposite because this is actually an eclipse as well. This is called the Hunter Moon. I don't like the name as a vegan, but it's okay. It's the Hunter Moon, and that's basically what these names were named many, many years ago, and that's basically what the deal is because it is a time where people hunt for food. Also, it is something that, so if you remember, the nodes of the moon were in Taurus between January of 2022 all the way until July of 2023. So we have, just this extra energy, just like I said, left over. 5 degrees Taurus. What's in Taurus in your chart? Where is that in your chart? And so I think these two opposites are so interesting because Scorpio is all about, like I just said, the afterlife, the mystery, the research. What can't I see, hear, feel, and smell? And Taurus is all about more of what can I see, hear, feel, and smell. Taurus is a little bit more earthy, grounded. Now, the moon in Taurus is said to be at its like peak maximum in Taurus. Like it's very, very, very comfortable in Taurus. So that's good news about this full moon, because the Taurus moon in general is usually very gentle and very comfy, cozy, and grounded. And oh, it's just so nice. But it's the energy that's surrounding this. It's the eclipse, first of all, because all eclipses are a time of rebirth and transformation and resetting of the astrological energies in wherever Taurus is in your chart. But also, it's the other things that are going on behind the scenes. So we have Mars opposing Jupiter on the day of the eclipse. Mars in Scorpio, Jupiter's in Taurus. Yikes. Mars is the god of war. Jupiter makes everything bigger. Also, Mercury, how we talk, speak, and communicate. Also, Scorpio, also opposing Jupiter, same day. Next day, Mercury and Mars are now together. Okay. So, oh boy. So Mercury and Mars. Okay. You got to watch what you say. Mars and Jupiter makes it bigger. Mercury and Jupiter makes it bigger. So there's going to be a lot of communication around this time. I think this could be a very busy time of communicating because, again, Jupiter makes everything bigger. And it's not that it has to be bad necessarily, because remember, oppositions to Jupiter are not as terrible. But here's what kind of worries me. Dang it, I forgot my map again. I keep forgetting the map, and I apologize. This is going to be on a Saturday, October 28th, and the peak of it, the height of it, is going to be 4:24 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that, 1:24 p.m. on the West Coast, if you're, or in between, if you're plus or minus. So that is going to be on Saturday. I apologize if I didn't say that. That's October 28th. And then, like I said, Saturday, Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, Jupiter opposing each other. Sunday, Mercury conjunct Mars. So Mercury and Mars are like this on top of each other. So if you look at the the map, okay, Mars and Jupiter are right next to Israel, right next to it, right on the map. And that's a little scary because when you think about Jupiter making things bigger and Mars being the god of war, there's gonna be a big time increase of activity during that time. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, there's gonna be like strife. Now, the archangel that is in like sort of associated with Taurus is Chamuel, and Chamuel. And it might be pronounced Camuel, I'm not sure, in other sort of religions. Chamuel is actually in charge of peace on earth. So if you think about Taurus, gosh, what do we need right now so badly? We need peace on earth. Now, Chamuel also can help you. And again, the archangels are a they, them situation, not a he, she, they, them. But Chamuel is nicknamed somebody who sees God, the angel that sees God. And also Chamuel is good for helping us to find peace in our hearts, peace on earth, and peacefully solving problems and conflicts. I can't think of an archangel that we need more right now to help us than Chamuel. Okay. And is said to be the most peaceful out of all of the archangels. So that's going to be a good thing, I guess, as far as having that be associated with Taurus. So if you are a Taurus, or wherever you have Taurus in your chart, if you have Taurus, sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever's in Taurus, or even if it's an empty spot in your chart, but it's on a house, what area is it highlighting? And that way you'll know how it'll affect you. Again, how do you get along with Tauruses? How do you get along with Scorpios? Because the axis of remember, we have to look at these at both sides, sun and moon. So they'll both be activated. Both sides will be activated of this. And so this will test us, I think, a little bit, because Taurus is financial. Taurus is material things. Again, Taurus is see it, hear it, feel it, touch it, smell it. where this is the mysteries, the Scorpio sun is the mystery of life. And these two are kind of like at odds right now. That's what happens during every full moon, is they're always at odds. But there's even more energy behind this full moon, with Mars opposing Jupiter, and then Mercury opposing Jupiter, and Mars and Mercury together. Mars and Mercury together, if it was just that, I would be saying, watch what you say. We could be a little bit into debating, arguing, sort of being contrary a little bit, and testing, with our communication. But then we add Jupiter to the mix, and Jupiter's supersizing it with like an extra double side of fries. It's making it all bigger. So peace talks during that time might be wonky, real wonky. If I was a White House advisor, I would tell people, don't set up anything near that, wait. So if you have big things to talk about, look, we might have a hard time shutting our mouths. That around this weekend. So we really try to get it maybe done earlier in the week, where things are a little bit lighter astrologically, and a little calmer, and a little bit more peaceful, if you have big things to discuss with somebody. Now, look, I always say it's not a one size fits all advice. If you are shy and you have a hard time self-advocating, and you have a hard time expressing your needs, or you have a hard time saying, hey buddy, don't take my parking spot. If you are a person that'll help you. But if you're somebody who talks too much, vents about every little thing, is a little naturally aggressive, okay, this could be not so good. All right, because it's pointy and sharp. Whenever we deal with Scorpio, you got to think about sharp, pointy things. And that is the deal. Okay, so we just want to be careful with all that. Now, Jupiter and Uranus are extremely close right now. In fact, they're only 10 degrees apart. Uranus is at 21 degrees and Jupiter's at 11 degrees Taurus. So because of that, these two, it's 10, the rule of thumb is 10 degrees or less. So these are exactly 10 degrees apart right now. They're coming together. They're going to be coming together closer and closer and closer. The peak of it is going to be April 20th of 2024. So by April, they're going to be on top of each other. And remember, when these big outer planets are moving, it takes them a while to get, but they're already in the zone. So whenever we think of Jupiter being activated, Uranus is right around the corner. And that's going to be coming. So next week, November 3rd, the sun is going to oppose Jupiter. And then the next day on November 4th, Mercury opposes Uranus. And then we get into, what is the other date here? Oh, and then the 11th, Mars opposes Uranus. That's going to be another really sticky on 11/11. And then even on November 13th, the sun opposes Uranus. So see, as all the planets go through Scorpio, they're opposing Jupiter or Uranus. That's basically what's happening. Jupiter is more friendly of the two. Jupiter just makes everything bigger, so it just depends on what it's opposing. Mars, that's not so friendly. But, if it's going to oppose Mercury or something, that's okay. That's not too bad. Mercury is just going to be a big mouth. This is going to make us talk too much and not listen enough, okay? But when we get Uranus involved, Uranus is shakeups, unexpected events, and change, and it's a lot of change. So when these planets are going to be opposing Uranus, we're going to be getting these waves. Okay, so even the first couple of weeks, so this is a big picture thing. So it's not just this week; it's going to be the week of first couple 3 weeks, really of November, that the planets are going to be passing by these two. Wave after wave after wave. So we have Jupiter making things bigger, and also can be quite optimistic usually. It just depends on the players, but Jupiter can be very optimistic. This is just about not pushing your luck too much. That's the only thing with Jupiter. But Uranus is a destabilizer, and it could make us feel wonky. And it's change. It's a lot of change. So there's a lot of change behind this eclipse too. I mean, it's going to be a big, powerful eclipse. So that's something to kind of, keep in mind and sort of just know about. It could be, yes, it could be positive changes for sure. Again, it's not one size fits all. What I would say is if there's something that you've needed to change and you're kind of waiting for the universe to decide because you're not making like your active decision making and you're not having, then that can be painful, because when the universe decides, it might not be how you want it to be. So the good news is if you're on your target and you're sort of listening to your internal intuition and your guidance and all that, this could be positive change for sure. I'm just worried a little bit about this all this stuff going on with Israel and Hamas and that, because the lines are going right next to there, so that's going to be raunchy and nasty. But like I said, Uranus is the wild card. I mean, sometimes it's kind of bad, but other times it can be positive. Uranus lessons can be positive. It's in Taurus, so Taurus is money again, it's finances. So there's gonna be some stuff with the stock market with this too, like of like kind of like a roller coaster feeling with some of this. We might even hear something about the housing market too, because of Taurus's component with that. Okay, so Archangel Chamuel, one thing I forgot to say is, you guys ever hear of, even if you're not Catholic, but just if you ever heard of St. Anthony, like if you lost something and there's a little saying that you say to St. Anthony to help bring it around. Well, Chamuel also has the same capability. So if you lost something and you need it to be found, you can ask St. Anthony or Archangel Chamuel, and that can actually help you as well. I would say definitely, as far as stones go, I love bloodstone for Scorpio. I talk about that a lot. I didn't bring my citrine today, but citrine is another one for Scorpio. And for some of this big ecliptic energy, I would go for something very grounding, very earthy, just something that can really feel very soothing. Even if it's any kind of really dark stone, onyx or tourmaline or any of those ones. I love citrine too. Ashley Ann said, I love citrine. Citrine is the yellow stone, and it is so wonderful. It used to be nicknamed the merchant's stone because it is said to bring money. And it also is one of the rare 2 stones that don't need to be cleansed or cleared. I clear mine anyway, but it doesn't really need to. It's said to not really hold on to negative energy, which is good. That's good. So you're going to be feeling all the fixed signs are activated right now. If you're a Taurus, if you're a Scorpio, for sure you're in the heart of this. But also, even if you're a Leo or Aquarius, you're going to be feeling all of this too. And the other water signs are going to get activated. Cancer and Pisces you'll be feeling it a lot because it's very watery. This sun, and then the moon. The moon is going to activate the other earth signs. So Virgo or Capricorns, you guys might be feeling that because that's your other earth sign. So there's a lot of signs that are going to be feeling this. A lot of astrological energy that'll be activated. So that is basically what is going on. Just this whole weekend coming up and remember, we start to feel these things like 48 hours ahead of time. And also keep in mind that whatever happens during eclipse times, not only just this eclipse, but also back on the 14th, like what was going on that whole week, and even this week, the whole week is the start of a new 6-month cycle for you. So pay close attention to what's going on like in your life and what's going on around you, because that is something that's very important to know. Because any change is something, like I always say, the reset button, when we hit the reset button and there's a stop and then a restart, sometimes, it doesn't restart again, and sometimes it does. So it's just something that we need to keep in mind. So I hope that helps everybody. Yes, Kelly said you have citrine. That's good for Gemini. Sure. I mean, I think citrine's really good for all of the astrological signs, but it is one of Scorpio's like gemstones. So, yeah. So if anybody has any astrological questions about any of this or anything going on in your life, we have some big, and that is also if you did write your new moon manifestation list, and you want to burn or destroy the list, you could feel free to do so as well. Melinda said the nuns drilled Saint Anthony into you. Yeah. Well, Archangel Chamuel as well. You know, I mean, that's another, we can give Saint Anthony a little bit of a break. The Chamuel can help as well. Yeah, actually, if you want to write your list now, I mean, we got the power of the sun and Saturn going on right now, so that could be good too. We wouldn't be calling it a new moon list, but it's just a very positive manifestation list for sure. Oh, thank you, Phyllis. Happy birthday. You're in your Scorpio season. So yeah, so let's see here. Does anybody have any astrological questions? Wendy said, which archangel is Scorpio? I cannot believe it, but it's like completely out of my mind right now. I will have to, I'll put it in the show notes. I don't know why, but I can't think of it. So I'll put it in the show notes, the archangel for Scorpio. Yes. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions? I am going to pull one collective card at the end for everybody. And if nobody has any questions, I'll just pull the card now. But sometimes people want to be typing. Ashley Ann said you were right on last time. Oh, thank you. Spot on. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I'm just going to pull a card then because I feel like everybody's quiet. That's so funny because the card, I don't know if you could hear, but the card just fell out. Speeches and speaking. I think that's funny. Everybody's kind of quiet. You have an important message to deliver that can help others. Well, I hope so. I hope so. That I didn't pull that. That just kind of fell out. I like to just sometimes shuffle and see what comes out. But yeah, I mean, I think really what we need to do is we need to work on peace. We need to work on peace. Peace and forgiveness, and also this Mercury, Mars, Jupiter situation is going to increase the need. Just make sure you're not jibber jabbering just for the sake of jibber jabbering, and you're keeping it more bullet point concise, but also that you're willing to listen to, because that's a lot of communicating is listening. Andrea, okay, I'll have one question. Andrea said she has a meeting on Thursday. Well, that's good. It's before all this kind of stuff kind of comes up, so that's good. Oh, there. I think this one's perfect for you. Stay true to yourself. Just stay true to yourself. That's really good. Don't compromise or water down your ideas. Listen to, trust, and follow your inner voice. You know, I talk a lot about that in my sessions, about following your inner wise guy inside, you know, your true intuition and what you feel is right for you. And I feel like just don't water it down. Don't poo-poo it. Don't say, well, I kind of... You know, sometimes we water it down, even in our speaking or speech, you know, we water stuff down, but yeah, I hope that helps. But yeah, it looks like it's a good thing. And I think this could be positive with some of this communication stuff coming up. Remember, we don't need to hit someone over the head with a sledgehammer to communicate, but sometimes fewer words that are more punctuated, I think, are that can really get people. Dee, I don't predict forever. And Dee, I just want to say for the record, the whole twin flame thing, people talk about twin flames, soulmates, life partners, all the different names that people call them. I really feel like soulmates and twin flames are very similar. I don't predict forever because I do think that our souls go on forever, so that we... it may or may not be in this life. Okay, our souls kind of do this over lifetimes. So sometimes we're with somebody in and out. Sometimes they're your neighbor. Sometimes they're your auntie. Sometimes they're, whoever. And we will come in and out of bodies. I know probably what you meant is, will it be forever in this lifetime? But I don't predict forever because I feel like, first of all, there's no way to do that because really, literally, we are constantly learning and growing. And our contract that we have with people is always being renegotiated. Okay. But I can tell you, let's see, your boyfriend, let me just, I'll just say, what do you need to know? Oh, it's interesting. There's love here, but I almost feel like your boyfriend or you, one or the other, has been, maybe you haven't had enough time to spend with each other. If your love language is quality time, there might not be so much time that you guys are spending together. There's a little bit of, it looks like a separation, or the other person's just working a lot, or maybe the other person's got a hobby that takes them away from you, or whatever the case is. But there's love. I mean, you got a good love card here too, but you also have a little bit of more like alone time, or than maybe either of you were hoping for, or something, or maybe it's just your schedules are not matching up or something like that. So I hope that helps. So you might have to set up a date night or some kind of thing that you can kind of come together and see. Yeah. So I hope that helps everybody. So I'm going to pull a quick card. What do we need to know for, I always do this for everybody in, the world, really. So let's look at, what do the angels need us to know about this week? The Mercury going into Scorpio, the sun going into Scorpio, all this astrological energy over the coming weekend with the eclipse and Mars and Mercury and Jupiter. Oh my. What do we need to know? It's the most important thing for us here on this planet. That's helpful advice that we could use. Okay, two cards I pulled. The first one, I wanted a little bit more information. It says retreat. Okay. Time to take a break, to block out distractions, spend quiet time alone so that you can focus on your priorities. Okay. What are your priorities? And the other one is authenticity, which is very similar to a card that Andrea got about staying true to herself. Trust that your real self, whom God or the universe created divinely perfect, has the strength and knowledge needed for this situation. So we can trust ourselves, even if we can't trust another person in this, whatever's going to happen this weekend or whatever's happening in your personal life, you can always trust yourself. And I often talk to people about that, like when they're going through a breakup or they're going through a hard time. I'm like, who do you trust in the situation? Hopefully it's you. Hopefully it's yourself. Because that is something that you can rely on, is to trust yourself. And we might want to take a little, remember Scorpio is very more private, right? So we might want to take a little break and a little personal time over the weekend to handle this sort of a download of whatever energies we're going to be receiving over the weekend. So it's something, again, it's going to be at 4:24 p.m. on Saturday. So we can burn or destroy our list after 4:24 p.m. Okay. Anytime after that night is fine. And release, let go, purge, get rid of, and allow whatever new energies are going to come into our life. That's a really good one. Andrea, thank you so much. A lovely space clearing bell. Thank you so much. 99 or 100 stars. Thank you very much. I appreciate that's my favorite bell. I love the sound of that bell, and it goes on for the reverberations go on for such a long time. It's beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Phyllis. You always enjoy my insight. Thank you very much. And if you guys want to have a personalized astrological session, all my sessions are done now through Zoom or telephone. So I can talk to you if you are anywhere in the world. it's pretty cool as long as our time zones kind of match up. And yeah, and so if you want that, just go ahead and send me a text message or a DM, and I will get back to you. Also, if you wouldn't mind, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really would appreciate it, and comment below if you are watching on YouTube. I love that as well. And yeah, and if you want to participate with the Monday night party, come back next week. It's every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I like to just set everybody up, have a good week, and know what's kind of the skinny, what's happening. And plus it's something fun to do on a Monday night. Monday nights aren't usually the most fun and exciting night of the week. So yeah, so I hope that helps everybody. Archangel Chamuel, please hear our prayers for world peace, peace on earth, and that you can have peace enter everyone's hearts. Okay, everybody. Namaste. Have a wonderful night and take care. Bye.